One of the first jobs that I had as a kid, as a 12-year-old, was working on a farm. I spent whole days just cleaning out manure from horse stalls and putting in fences around acres of land that would become pasture. Uh, After that, as I grew up, I continued to work in and around farms. Even when I moved to Georgia, I worked on a farm out in Rutledge, Georgia, where we put in a organic garden that fed a camp for kids and adults with developmental disabilities and kids who were medically fragile. I love being outside. I love getting my hands in the dirt. I love being just a patient observer of life coming up out of the ground. It's one of my favorite things. As time's gone on, though, I've noticed that I've gotten more and more distracted from those things that I love. You know, even here we moved to Decatur, and one of the first things that Susanna and I both wanted to do was put in a fresh garden to supplement our groceries during the spring and summer and even into the fall. And so one of the first things we did the first summer we were here was we put in a raised bed. We actually put it where you can just see that patch of dirt back there. Well, we had not done our patient observation, and we didn't realize that that patch of dirt there only sees sun for roughly 4 or 5 hours, even in the peak of summer. If you've gardened much, you know that there are only a handful of vegetables that do well with that sun, but the ones we planted were certainly not those. We planted tomatoes and peppers and all sorts of things that really needed a full sun day. So we neglected that garden. We realized it didn't get the sun that it needed, so we also didn't give it the water that it needed, and it sort of faded into the back of our mind as just a rectangle of wood with a bunch of really nice dirt in it, and a hard memory of putting together something that ended up being fruitless. Well, fast forward a couple years to just last weekend, we realized we have been missing being in the garden and getting our hands dirty. So I took the better part of a day last week to pull the raised bed that was right there out and put it right here where I'm sitting now. This spot in the yard sees about 8, maybe even 9 hours of sun during a good day. So we've planted some fresh seed here, and back in the spot where the raised bed used to be, we have planted some greens that actually don't mind a little bit of shade, and some garlic and onions that might do best without having the full sun on it in the middle of the day. And it just reminded me of how much I love it. Isn't that interesting how we can get so far away from the things that we love by doing work that we love? You know, I love the work that I do. I love being in the office working with the staff that I'm around so frequently. We have an incredible team, and North Decatur has such an incredible mission to be in connection with one another on a regular basis, introducing all people to the love of Christ. It's an amazing gift to be in this space, and even still, it has become a distraction to me from the full presence of God in the small moments of my day. Rather than going out into the garden, I have often pulled out my computer to respond to more emails. Rather than getting my hands dirty, I have pulled out another book on effective team management. Rather than planting fresh seeds, I have reached back to my phone to look one more time to see if anybody has sent me a text message or a message on any social media platform or an email. And those things are good. I think all of us get caught up in the day-to-day business of life, and I think that's fine. But it certainly shouldn't keep us from being able to be present in every moment that we're in. I think a lot of times for me, I let those tools become distractions from the present moment, and I've noticed that especially during this time of intentional physical distancing. I've noticed that I reach for my phone a lot, even when it doesn't make a sound. I notice I pull out podcasts when things start getting too quiet. I notice I pull up YouTube when I'm starting to get bored. I notice that I open up Netflix on my television or on my computer when I would just rather be distracted and entertained. So much distracts us from the present moment, and so much has distracted me from gardening as a hobby and an important part of my life. But I do think that this season allows us an opportunity as much as it does offer us a challenge. I think we're drawn in one of two directions. Some of us are overwhelmed with having to parent and work and teach all in the same moments. And some of us, like me, are finding that they have more time than they had ever had before to do things that they love. And so I challenge all of y'all to just find ways to be fully present. If you have a hobby that you've loved and gotten away from, this is a great time to try it out again. If you've wondered about building up a new habit that might give you life, this is the season to try it. My neighbors are mowing their grass. I love that. Whatever it is, I challenge you to take a deep breath in, as Susanna challenged us to last Sunday. Feel what your body is feeling. Sense what's happening around you, and look for the ways that God is showing you new life springing up from the ground. For me, God is reminding me to get my hands dirty. I don't know what God might be reminding you to do, but I pray that we will all be in search together of God's presence, even in this time of physical distancing. Y'all are awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday in a virtual platform as we have been doing. And in the meantime, I'm around. Feel free to call anytime. Take care.